Did you catch that? There's a little bit of a different operation. You're watching the Okie Woodsman channel and my name is Joe. Anybody watching me run these saws might see me from time to time go and pull the pull start and the saw doesn't start. That can be caused by one of two things. The switch itself may have gone bad or it may be going bad. This is a fantastic subscriber submitted tip that was sent to me. I've had a few of these clone 372s and I have this 395 that is an OEM saw. One of the biggest problems I've ever had with these saws is the cheap switches that come in them seem to fail all the time. Sometimes they fail closed, sometimes they fail open. When they fail closed, what that means is the saw won't start because you're permanently grounding that ignition to the case. When they fail open, like this switch did here, you can't turn off the saw with the switch because it basically can never ground the connection. In order to safely turn it off, what I would do is I would just pull the choke and pop it back in. That would essentially, basically, I think, flood it a little bit. There's a gentleman that goes by 902 Hand in the comment section quite regularly, and he sent me a part number for this switch right here. This is an OEM Husqvarna switch that I believe comes off of like a string trimmer or something. And the cool thing about it is look at what it does. It's magic. You slide it over and it goes back to the open position. That's awesome. Anytime I've been running this, there's a couple times where it doesn't start right away, and I think a lot of people think that I left the switch off. But what was happening is I believe the switch was becoming intermittent, where sometimes it would make connections, sometimes it wouldn't. Or sometimes it would stay connected even though I had it in the run position. I really dislike these. If you're gonna have these clone saws, you might as well just buy like a 5-pack of these for really cheap. Be prepared to replace them. When I received this 395 from Boys in the Woods, I noticed that the switch didn't do anything, and when I looked at it, I found that the switch wire had been cut. I think it was one day in the field, they were using it and the saw suddenly wouldn't run, and their solution was just to simply cut the wire. I resoldered it, but once I did, then the saw wouldn't run any longer. I then put a meter on the switch between the two contacts and found it was a permanent short, meaning the switch was permanently closed. I have a little bit of video I will include as we have this discussion here. It is mostly just a swap in part, but it does require a slight bit of modification. This is the switch that came out of the saw, and you'll notice that each of the connectors there are the same exact width. These blades that are on the stock Husqvarna ones on these new switches, one was wider. I don't know if that's what it's like on stock 372s, but rather than try to narrow down the blade, what I chose to do was I cut the end off and stripped it. I could have put a wider connector on there, but personally, I'm not going to be making a field repair with this saw. I'm not going to carry extra switches. I'm going to pick up another saw. What I did is simply cut the crimp connector off, tinned it, and then soldered it directly to the tab. I'm not afraid of soldering little things like this, and personally, I think it's better off just having it soldered anyway. In a moment here, I'll show you one drawback with these switches, but we'll talk about that after I show what I did on this saw here. The 395 has a little bit of a different setup. You'll notice that there is a standard blade on top, and then it's got this eyelet here. And what's nice about that is that keeps this switch nice and stable inside of the case. I don't have a way of like kind of making that work on the new one. So what I did is rather than modify the original eyelet, I simply took and soldered the connector to the other switch. There will be some video of that included as well. I clocked the connection a little differently than it was from the factory just for easy clearances, and guess what? The switch works as intended. I think that there's plenty of stability here. While it's nice to have the switch supported with this eyelet here, I don't think that I'm gonna miss that at all. This thing isn't gonna just fall out. Let's go ahead and fire up the saws. I'll show you how it works, and we'll talk about something that you have to do a little bit different to operate them. First, we'll go with the 395. I love that it's always in the run position. All right, operates just well. Did you catch that? There's a little bit of a different operation. Let's do it on this 372 clone now. Oh man, it's so cool. I don't have to, I'm always just thinking about getting that thing in the run position. I don't know about you, but I can personally hold that switch a little longer. Thank you to 902. I now have OEM switches that I think I'm going to be way more happy with. I really thank 902 for taking the time to share that tip with me. I always read your comments, and this was one of these quick and easy, affordable solutions that I think is going to be very useful for you and your power equipment. Thanks for watching the Okie Woodsman channel, and we'll see you on the next one. That's going to be absolutely awesome.